I can't believe it. It's the last episode of season 1, The Tea with Jamie-Lee, and I had to bring someone that is so close to me. I always say this about him. He has completely changed the trajectory of my life. He is the fastest man on sand. It's like bragging right at this point. Presenter, he is just the most amazing, incredible human being. Ryle De Morny. How are you?
I feel like I just want to argue.
You are. Me too, come let's hug. Oh. How are you, man?
Always good. Always feeling absolutely blessed. I think I always get a divine opportunity to look at you, and I can't help but like reflect. Every time I see you, something good has happened. Something incredible has changed, and it's not just from watching. I can always feel it. So thank you again for sharing your time with me. I really appreciate it. And for having me on your beautiful new space.
Oh my word, I needed to book you 2 years ago because you are booked and busy. You just got back from traveling as well.
Yeah, crazy.
Always busy. Always, if you're not in the mountain, you're out in the ocean, or you are rocking some designer wear and just doing some amazing things in incredible spaces.
Trying, yeah.
How's that been?
It's been wild, eh? I think it's, if I didn't say it before, now I'm going to keep the sentiment. It's been such a crazy ride. I constantly feel like I'm this kid that has gotten this opportunity to see the other side, and I don't feel like I'm from the other side. I don't feel like I'm even on the other side. I still feel like I'm that kid watching everything that I never had a world or a part to play in. And it really is so fascinating and so wild for me to still right now say that I'm constantly like blown away by how much I'm learning still, how much I'm still able to grow, how I am constantly still inspired by the people I get to engage with and the spaces I'm playing in. It has been such a fulfilling journey to be on the side and work on the side and play in these spaces and share moments like this with you. So again, so grateful, and always God willing, touching wood, that I have this vessel that I can experience with. So that is something to constantly celebrate, especially when you have those low inevitable moments in life which have come throughout all this wildness as well. So it's been a wild ride. Yeah,
we're going to talk about this vessel because this is a very popular vessel. A lot of people is always like, who can Ryle take off his shirt? And it's so funny, a couple of weeks ago I had Dylan Mujavi on, and he was like, oh my word, Ryle is my man crush. A lot of people crushing you.
I actually specifically listened to that one.
Oh yeah,
I love that guy, man. I love his flair. I love his energy that he gives out. We obviously got to experience an adventure way back when, again reflecting here, in KZN. So as cool as that was to see, it's so cool to see his growth. And shout out to you, my boy. Absolute love and respect for what you're doing. Thank you for the shout out, and I'm sending it back to you tenfold.
Oh man, you talk about, being on the other side and being in a space of realizing now that you're here and all these amazing opportunities. It had to start somewhere. When was that moment when you realized, flip, I'm changing, I'm evolving, I'm becoming a better version of myself, and I'm no longer just settling for what sometimes becomes our norm in society, where like you stay stagnant, you stay because it's easy, it becomes comfortable, you don't want to evolve, you don't want to change, you don't want to change the vessel, you don't want to change the mindset because it's just so easy to just be comfortable. When did you have that moment?
Yeah, it is easy. I don't think it's like a poof epiphany that really ever happened. I mean, I think of many moments like that allow me to realize something, and it's all these little puzzle pieces that unlock the bigger picture. I think for me, maybe something like a athletic goal that I always had, being a lifeguard, trying to achieve like a gold medal, being the fastest at something in the world. Once you figure out how to do that, maybe I haven't arrived, but you have a feeling of like, okay, external validation and internal validation. Ooh, this is resonation with something that I believe in, materializing and coming through. Cool. Presenter search was something similar to that. But you realize something crazy in those moments that you think are going to make you feel like you've become, like winning presenter search. That's supposed to be the I've made it moment. And initially you kind of do feel that way, but then in reality, that's the beginning of something new. And that's what's always blown my mind, thinking that this is my biggest goal, achieving it. And often I think this is what happens in life. People have this emptiness when they reach something that they think defines them, and realizing, but Where's all the holes that are supposed to now be filled? They're still so big and empty. It wasn't what I thought it was, and you go down this very dark place. So I think those moments are the constant moments that I've been having that make me realize it's not about what you're achieving and what you're accomplishing and have accomplished even in that moment, but I think it's now for me more about how I'm doing it. The systems I've developed through sport, through having to be forced to show up in a very fine moment when you've trained for 4-8 years of your life, that's real pressure. Being able to, in those moments, learn how to be present in pressure moments reveals a far greater beauty than you ever thought you could, because you were never focused on anything else. You were just worried about yourself and am I going to show up and what if this, and you're worried about everything else instead of looking at the beauty and seeing it for what it is right in front of you and absorbing and engaging that. So I don't think there was a moment. I think even beyond presenter search and to this point in time where I've constantly seen complacency, seen and felt what complacency looks like through others, and realizing I don't want to, that's not my game. That's not the coat and the jacket and the suit I want to wear. I don't feel good around this energy. I need more. There's a hunger inside of me. There's holes to be filled and I need to be stimulated. There is nothing I think that I can have that will forever make me feel like, okay. I don't think that exists. I really don't. I think that moment is a constant, and you need to constantly be moving, right? It's a universal law. Everything in life is moving, whether it's moving really slowly to the point of being stagnant or moving so fast that it's the speed of light. It's that bright. It just ignites everything around you. You got to keep moving. And I think that's where I like to find the beauty in these inevitable ebb and flows in life. Because yes, we have these moments of affirmation where we've made it, and then immediately it's like, okay, but now I've got to work. What next? I want more. It's not what I thought it was. You humbled, you keep learning. So yeah, there is no moment, there is no time. We are forever becoming and continuing, and I hope we never ever stay stagnant. None of us should feel like we are no better than what we can become the next day.
Wow. I forget how inspired I am just sitting with you for 5 minutes. Like I have so many questions. You touched on presenter search, you touched on just a little bit about your journey, but sports is ultimately what helped you become this version of yourself. It's changed your life. Fitness, taking care of this vessel was ultimately what, propelled you in your life, because it put you and set you apart from so many of your peers. It saw you in a different light. You're the fastest at one point. I don't know where the rankings are right now, but you were the fastest man on sand. For someone to say that, and that's bragging rights. Like that, I want you to know, when I introduce you to people as my friend, I'm like, do you know who I'm friends with? Like the fastest man on sand. My best friend is the fastest man on sand. Does that ever hit you, and where you have that moment like, damn, bruh, I really did that?
Yeah. When I was doing it, no. Now that I'm getting older, now that I'm not doing the things I used to do as an athlete before, yeah, it's wild to think that this thing did that. I mean, and I say this thing is like this body of mine, the things that I've done to this body. I was trying to reflect on how badly I've damaged and broken myself physically to achieve something. Started with sport, wanting to achieve a goal. Burning the candle at both ends is something I was a master at, not realizing the cost of it. Dealing with the cost now, the pain, and trying to put the pieces of my body back together. I'm like, wow, this thing did that. And I'm talking like broken bones, torn ligaments, ankles, dislocated my knee, torn ACL, meniscus damage, hamstring tear, torn labrum to this day, glutes not firing, I tore a disc in my back when I couldn't walk, shoulder dislocation to this day. These are things that like were constantly supposed to end me, but I pushed through, maybe for lack of a better reason, not when I was supposed to always. I should have healed and given my body time to, but coming from that and looking back on what I did and how I feel now, having now had the chance to heal and to know better and to allow myself to like thrive again. wow, I'm impressed with what I put myself through. I'm impressed with how these vessels, how our body just wants health, it wants to do better, it wants to win. It's constantly telling you when it's sore, when it's hungry, when it's thirsty. All we gotta do is listen. I didn't listen because I was so obsessed with a goal of how I wanted to be defined and what I thought I was gonna identify myself as, the fastest man on sand. Yo, cool goal, but like, we're more than that. We're more than the things that we do, like I was saying to you earlier. I think that shouldn't define us. So I'm blown away constantly by what this vessel's able to do. And now that I look back on those titles, like you asked me now, I'm like, you know what? Yes, that's actually wild. If I really think about the sacrifice I had to put in and what it took to get to that point.
What did it take? Because I remember it was a couple of years ago, you were training as well, and I saw you in a space where you were just, you were focused, your food was different, the people you surrounded, and I always tell you this is athlete energy, surrounding yourself with people that are in a different season of their life, almost in a winning season of their life, so you can just be surrounded by that. And the discipline, the dedication, everything that it took you to get to that place, I saw a glimpse of it, so I don't even know the underlying and all the extra work that you had to put in, besides just the physical of training and showing up and being present. And then also still trying to find a balance in all of this, because you have a partner and you have 2 beautiful dogs and all this crazy things. So what does it actually take to put your body through that?
Do you know what's insane is that the physical part, like the thing you see in the movies of like training so hard every single day, like being so meticulous with your diet, going to sleep, not going out and being tempted by the jewel and stuff, like that is 100% real. 100% real. You have to do that and more, right? And it's hard to do that. Like it really is. And I'm going to tell you now that that's the easy part. Like it really is. The real sacrifice, I think, comes in like not listening to everything around you that's telling you you're not the fastest, because you're not. You are only that thing until you achieve it. And you are the only one that believes it up until you can make that thing materialize. So up until that point in time, you're alone with your own crazy thoughts and beliefs and trying to just pursue this thing so relentlessly that it comes at such a sacrifice. Here's what it takes, right? All that hard work, right? I was juggling. You talk about a winning season. This is the cost of winning. Yeah, I'm winning. I was a top billing presenter at this time, right? Juggling top billing and juggling being an actor on Netflix at the same time, trying to learn lines for the first time in my life, not sleeping, right, juggling that, and trying to then train in between this, eat properly, get your macros in, your protein, carbs, and fats, and everything you need, somehow get your training sessions in, and also try balance it so that you're not burning out. Otherwise, there's no point in putting in all this work if you're just breaking the vessel. It still needs to thrive somehow. I had to manage myself on such a meticulous level. I had to track and monitor the hours of sleep and play catch up here and there. I had to cancel things with friends and family just so that I could keep the system going. It was the craziest thing I had to put myself through to find out, firstly, can I even do this? And then prove not only to just anybody else, because the most important person I needed to prove this to was myself, that I'm not crazy, that the thing I feel within inside of me is what I believe, and I need to go execute and prove this to the world right now. And take all these risks to get there. I bet on myself to win. Like, I bet money on myself to fundraise so that I could make the cash to win. So I'm putting like double stakes on myself. Like, I'm making a bet with someone that I'm gonna win. I didn't have the money to do that, and this is how much I believe in myself, that I'm risking everything. And like the event we do is crazy as well, because it's like a 20-meter race. You have 2-3 seconds to, from the ground, stand up, turn around, go, and anything that can go wrong in that time can cost you a position, and you need to go against like 80, 100 people, I don't know how many countries, and it's pressure like no other. That is, I think, still the thing that trained me to do everything else the way I can do it now. It's a system of going about how you approach life. It's you apply that philosophy to anything, I think it equals some good success. I mean, yeah,
that is
crazy, but it takes a lot.
Yeah, that is something people don't see. We see the outside, but people don't always see the journey. They don't see, those moments where you had to train your brain and train yourself and inspire yourself, because motivation and all these things, they come and go. Like, you can be motivated today, tomorrow I'm just like, I don't want to do this. But being consistent and waking up every day and being like, today All I want to do is be a better version of myself. And there's been so many moments and so many lessons that you've taught me. One of them was obviously just taking a moment to pause and reflect and be present. I think for the first time in my life when I met you, I was obviously 25, 27 kilograms heavier. Or I was just kind of getting into, I can't even remember the number at that point. But the one thing you told me was like, this is great. You're a presenter and you won Presenter Search, but what are you doing for yourself? What are you doing to fill your own cup? Which is something that I always am inspired when I see you, the rare chance that I do get to see you, if you're not killing me on the training session. But you're saying, what are you doing to fill your own cup? A lot of people don't do that. They say, how do I fill my own cup? I have to be a mom, I have to be a friend, I have to be a brother, I have to be a daughter. I don't have to give myself because I have so much to give other people. How do you do that? And how would you maybe inspire people to say, you know what, you need to do something that's good for you, that feels right for you, away from the pressures of what that looks like to society or to your peers or even to your family?
I think that's such a great question, because I, with the utmost 100% certainty and belief in my soul, will say that you will not make it in this world if you do not do that. You will not survive, you will not enjoy, and you will waste every moment that you've been blessed with if you do not do something for yourself. You do not fill up your cup. Find the thing that stimulates you, that puts a smile on your face, that makes you happy. If you're not doing that, then what is the point of all of this? Because how on earth am I ever going to do anything for anybody else if I've got nothing to give? How am I supposed to put anything into your cup if there's nothing in mine? It's such a simple saying, but it means so much that I had to action it in moments when I felt like I can't anymore and I wanted to give up. And I've constantly been lucky enough to be inspired by things like nature, which is for me been one of the biggest revelations, coming back from that injury, having these moments, chatting to you as well. I think we're always connecting and reconnecting when the moment's perfect and the timing's just right. And that moment of healing and reflecting was so important for me. It was what stopped me from retiring from like moving this vessel. I mean, I literally had my shoulder out of its socket. And the craziest part for me was like, I'm going to give up on running again now. I'm going to give up on all those crazy things. But like, I just want to maybe hike again. Like, cool, I've got legs, so I'll go hike. And then you hike and then you want to climb that summit that you used to. And like,
don't go hiking with him, please. PSA, service announcement before you continue. If Ryle ever invites you on a hike, abort mission. I'll tell you why. This man once told me, let's go on a hike. You just need to wear slippers, sloffies, nyana. We did. Got there, I was holding on for dear life. And I didn't have medical aid at that time. I was like, what am I doing in my life? Jesus, why? If you just get me down from the mountain, I'll never hike with Ryle again. But okay, continue. I just needed to put that out there.
And for a full disclaimer, look at it now. Look what that hike did. The seed was planted. So, I think to cut that long story short, it's just so important for me when I realize like I'm hiking and now I want to go from walking to maybe climbing the summit of that mountain and like, okay, let me just try and, you need a reason why. You need a passion, you need a stimulation. The reason why I did life-saving and was unrelentlessly doing everything I could to become the fastest at that was because the training, the reward, the being in nature, and competing stimulated me. That moment of like everything has come down to this very minute second, I thrived under that pressure. It made me feel alive. That is the thing that stimulated me. That's what got me there. Otherwise, there's no reason why you should sacrifice and spend so much money and time going through that to achieve that goal. There's no other reason. Otherwise, it has to fill up your cup. I was lucky to be passionate about that. Just like everything else I'm pursuing right now. The shoulder recovery from wanting to climb to wanting to swim again, doggy paddle to snorkeling to wanting to surf to, hey, I can almost swim again to, hey, I can run again to, hey, I'm back to, hey, I'm stronger than I ever was. I feel more alive than I was when I was a teenager. Me at 30, coming to this month soon, July, 36 years old.
No way.
I feel better than I ever have. Genuinely, I'm stronger. I have more mobility. I have more strength. I have more awareness. I regret so much, but I think it's the reason why I have this insight. But I wish I had this when I was younger. Wow. And that's why I'm still so grateful for this vessel that we constantly have, because you take this vessel and you mix up that thing that we're talking about now, that thing that allows you to fill up your cup. I call it passion, love, stimulation. Your that thing that just makes you want to come alive. Mix those two things together. You got like, I call that magic. There's nothing else more you can describe that as something other than a force so powerful that it can do almost anything. You tap into it all the time. Look where you are now. Look at the journey you've had by unlocking small puzzle pieces, and you know there's still so much more to come in your journey. You know how much more potential there is as long as you stick to this path, as long as you stay hungry. Whatever system you've developed right now, it's working. Why stop? Let's just keep growing. You can't stop listening to this calling. You can't. No longer now can you jump out of this flow state. Once you taste that cup, once you feel the dance and hear the music, you don't want it to stop. And I think that is something that we all must chase. We must find that thing that fills our cup up with the reason for living, our reason for being, our ikigai, that thing I always love to talk about. It is so important to us. And you do that, everything else turns to a simple task, because I have a reason now. I think we flip it around so poorly in schools and stuff, where it's like, what do you want to be when you're older? I'm going to be a doctor, I want to be this. No, that's wrong. Like, first, don't focus on what you want to be when you're older. Focus on the things that make you happy now. What you enjoying now? What do you have fun doing now? What do you love spending your time on now? And build on that and grow that stimulation. Expose yourself to more things that you don't know what you don't know. So expose yourself to more things that you haven't before, so that you can stimulate yourself and bring the DNA within you to life. I must just say this. There's this experiment, right, where they take this vacuum and they literally pass it through a helix, which has like this DNA strand in it. And you can almost nowadays track the frequency of like love and hate, very polarities to the emotions we experience in life. And you can literally see in experiments where you pass a frequency like hate, it's a low frequency, right, through like a DNA helix, and it only like intersects so few of the like strands or those rungs on the ladder. Love is a high frequency. It vibrates like this. You pass that through people. If I constantly talk about love and passion and excite you, you're going to physically come alive. Literally, I believe that if we could like create an environment where everybody's just showered with love like that, we would create like super beings. Literally, I guarantee it. I promise you that. We made of water. Water changes when you resonate it in a different way. You give it a different frequency. How can we not be affected by it? Wow. Yeah, man.
My mind is just again blown whenever I speak to you, but also that finding that love, that is something you mentioned that really stood out for me, is because love looked different for you in different seasons of your life. Obviously, the show is also about what's happening online. And over the weekend, we saw that Nelly and Ashanti, these celebs, they got married. Well, they got engaged and they are expecting their baby. But at a certain season of their life, they were together and they broke up for a very long time. And then they found each other. And now their love is beautiful. It's a story, which is almost similar to you and your partner, which is my bestie. Thank you for introducing me to Mel. If this entire meeting was to meet Mel, I'm grateful for that as well. It was so worth it. But you had a moment and a journey where she kind of gave you the ultimatum, because you were not the best version of yourself at that point. And she wanted more, and you were in different paths. And so now what you guys are together and being who you are individually before you come together was so important. And I always said this, you made me believe in love, watching how you love her. Because you love her loudly, but you also love her as an individual, as who she is, and supporting her. And you just work. There's this chemistry between the two of you that no one understands. People always used to say, "Oh, you and Ryle dating?" I'm like, no, you have to see Ryle with his person to understand why I appreciate that love. Because it is the most beautiful, purest form. And I remember the first time you spoke to me about Mel, your eyes lit up. I was like, is this what love is about in the movies? No, this is what it is right now. You're appreciative of it because of the season before that you didn't maybe appreciate what it really was all about.
Yeah, that is a wild one. I think you have, and especially for me, I had a very interesting like perception of love. brought up in a home where like parents are even like together and stuff, but you don't always see the good side of marriage maybe. So you start to doubt like what it even is about. You start to even question commitment, like what is the point? And you look at this world now and you can hear all these other crazy stories of like everybody just ending up not being together. That was like almost a trend, for lack of a better word, and because we focused on that and we weren't focusing on the love. And I think you are 100% right. I think we can all think of or think back to a time where we weren't the best versions of ourselves, and I hope we constantly feel a certain way like that so that we can continue to grow for the right reasons. But I definitely think I was lucky enough to, firstly realize even just half of what you're saying about Mal right now, because when you are so caught up in your own agenda and your own realizations and trying to prove things for yourself, you often get so caught up and so focused that you are narrow-sighted to some of the things around you that are actually adding value to your life, or things that are actually bringing out that best version of yourself. And I think for me, I became so focused on these things and got this tunnel vision because I didn't feel like there's anyone I can speak to in this space. The things I'm doing, coming into this space, there's not people that can help you and be like, Jamie, this is what you should and shouldn't do, and people you can trust, and like no one guided you into the situation. You were thrown in the deep end, you know what I mean? Sink or swim. That was both of our sort of introductions to the space, and luckily we've had some idea to float or something. And I think that's the same thing where I was so lucky enough to, you call it an ultimatum, call it a conversation, whatever it was, but there was a very big moment where it was like a shake of, I'm going to walk away now if you don't see this for what it is. And such a cliche, like the moment you realize you've lost something is when you realize what you actually had. And that was a big moment for me, because
I love that, Mel. Yes.
Whether it's human nature to take things for granted, to get complacent, or to not appreciate what you have in the moment, it's so unfortunate that it sometimes takes those dark times or takes some hurt or some kind of pain to have to realize that sometimes. And I used to see that as and I still do see it as a very positive, like when you are in these times of like, I have nothing left, that's when the real magic and the truth is going to reveal itself. That's when reality and the shade is taken off, the veils are lifted, and you get to see things for what they are. And often that comes with pain. Reality is not always just this beautiful sunshine and rainbow. It comes with pain. And I think that pain and the polarity of love is what makes love so valuable and so important to us. So for me to, in a moment of, I think, losing Mal, was for me the biggest insight into how much you are losing, what you have taken for granted, and the potential of what could have been if you had just woken up. And I had to literally lose that and feel that it's gone and I will never get it again, for me to decide whether it's something that I actually really truly want, and what are you going to do about something that you don't think you can ever have in this world. Much like our dreams, much like everything that we actually want to aspire to, there's these moments that we can walk away from and think that we've lost it, or you can fight for it and not give up and say, yeah, I actually did mess up. I made a mistake. I am sorry. I feel like I am able to understand what I did wrong and learn from it and improve on that, and try do something about it because I want to, not for anybody else, but now for me, because you've blessed me with a feeling I've never felt before, a pain that I don't think I ever want to feel again, and I'm going to fight for this. And I think if I can fight for this and then really truly get an answer, whether it's yes or no, that's something that I could rather live with. And I think that is the biggest fallacy that many of us fall into in this time that we spend right here, is to not give ourselves the chance and opportunity to fight for something we love, that we're passionate about, that we resonate with, or that we really truly want in this world. Because I don't think there's anything stopping us. If you really just put this as your steering wheel, allow this compass to guide you within, inherently we know what we want. It's the thing we're afraid of, the thing that makes you get goosebumps, that you're scared of engage with it, talk with it, play with it, dance with it, resonate with it, and I think grab that opportunity by the horns, because that's how we grow. That's how we don't become complacent and achieve and unlock these incredible things like you have in life.
Wow. Again, so many top points that I want to point out right now. There is something that I've always wanted to ask you with regards to fitness, and you've been very vocal about it as well. You know, when you were training or when you were prepping for a certain magazine cover, right? And the pressure that went with that to look a certain way. Again, in our industry, in this day and life, people want aesthetics. People want to look lacquer and ripped and all of that. But they, again, don't know what it took you to get there. And again, that short little time of validation and getting that cover and getting your body fat to this certain amount. But it was not healthy at all. Looking back now, you probably like, why did I even put myself through all of that to get that for that short amount of time and then not even being fulfilled? Perhaps you were fulfilled because, hey, to get a dream like that, to be on a magazine cover in the best shape of your life, healthy, when we both know that was not healthy at all. How? What? Tell me all about that, because that story always resonates with me so much.
I wish I can do it again, actually, like right now, with this body I have now, because this is, for me, what I really believe is the epitome of health. No, well, okay, whoa. Okay. Whoa, how can this guy come in here and say such a thing? That's a lie. I'm forever growing, forever learning. But like this is the best version of me, is what I'm really trying to say. The epitome of me, but I still feel like there's so much more that we can achieve and conquer, and I want to learn more. But that's such a crazy story for me. What a polarity to have a goal like wanting to be on the cover of something like a magazine like Men's Health. This is the epitome of health, is what every young kid when I was growing up, that's the bar. You have made it. That's success. And crazy enough, it was during that time when I dislocated my shoulder after a big competition. It put me out. I couldn't even move the damn thing, but it was so crazy to still have that goal of, I want to be on this cover. I'm not going to give up on this goal, and still wanting to look how I looked when I was like training and competing. What was cool for me was I never really chased aesthetics as much as I chased the goal and sport, and my obsession with that sport and diving into the diet and everything about it allowed the byproduct of that to be a good aesthetic, which was amazing. But when it came down to being on the cover, I couldn't rely on that because I was injured, right? So I'm like, whoa, I don't want to now represent a unhealthy version of me, right? And not look as good as I looked when I was training. I want to look my best. And also, this is like a moment that you might not ever get. You got to show up for the magazine cover.
You got to do everything. You got to
Come
cut it all out.
You know, you're young. And I was like, bro, don't screw this up, bro. We've been like waiting for this. You wanted this. So I go down the road of like, okay, cool. I'm going to have to diet to look good. Now it's like, you're like 3-4 weeks away. I'm already looking muff, like my shoulders locked.
I'm sure your muff is what?
No, but like compared to what I thought, and obviously mentally, I'm also like, I'm injured physically, mentally, so you don't look and feel good either way. So you don't have your suit of armor on. And first time for me realizing how much of an effect aesthetics actually has, and how much I still wanted to look that way, and forced it via the most craziest like diet routine, which a lot of guys and bodybuilders and guys actually do to prep for a competition, where you like you're not having a lot of water, and you reduce your carbs a lot, so you're not like functioning, your energy is low, you're very like moody and temperamental, because like, I mean, I'm pretty sure your brain operates on some form of glycogen, so it needs some sort of energy. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure it needs that. So, like, how do we seek energy? And not all of us can just use fat as a source of energy. Not all of us break fat down well enough. It all depends on our body. So, I'm just focusing on all the basics. So, it was just crazy for me to come from a moment like that. I think from, let's say, being at your low, being injured, and forced to, I think, see a different way, see a way which is important to many, and it's not the diet that I did, because what I did was carb blocking, like I said, dropping water, then you're timing your salts, right? And then like 2 days before the actual photo shoot, you then like smash carbs, so that your cells suddenly from going from like basically being dehydrated to now I'll take whatever I can get, and it just like sucks in whatever carb it can, and then you almost like make yourself pop. And like, it's a crazy thing. There's a crazy technicality to it, and these things can be manipulated. But it's made just to look a certain way for the shoot.
For the shoot.
For that moment. Now, me as a young kid was always thinking like, I want to always look like that, and like that's the norm. These guys are coming into like 6-8% body fat, like dehydrated, added some vitamin C's just to get the dehydration on, and done all sorts of other things to look a certain way. And you go speak to them in that moment, they are the unhealthiest ever. They don't feel good,
and
they don't
hangry.
look good,
They're hangry,
all sorts of things, right? And this is the industry. This is what models do. This is what cover mag peeps do, especially in this aesthetic game. And I realized, I fell into this trap almost, and did exactly what I shouldn't have done. And I just extended that message, and it was such a weird, like a crucial, pivotal point for me to be in, where I'm like, whoa, you can now just feed into this, or you can now like really speak about what is health being on the other side. And these are the things I've been so grateful for, constantly being on the other side and being like, check it, Owens, I got you. I'm gonna tell you straight like how it is, I'm gonna tell you legit. Ask me the questions, I'll let you know the 4-on-1. I'm not gonna wrap it up in a bow and put smoke and mirrors on this thing. This is how it really is. This is what's really going down right now. But there is also another way, and there's a lifestyle that you can adopt, and that's what's been important to me, was to prove that became my new obsession. That became my new like fastest man on sand goal. This is my new goal, is I'm gonna show you I can heal. My goal is to heal better than anyone else. My goal is to show you I can have balance, better balance than anyone else. Like the competitor. I want to win balance. Like, how do you do that even? It's not a thing, but it's silly me. Is like, you gotta find this obsession, and maybe I use obsession in a way that could be perceived negatively. Let's call it a passion. Let's call it a new stimulation. And that became it. That became my thing. Longevity, sustainability, empowerment, growth, impact. Wow, these are words I want to have in my conversations with people. Not what's your body fat, how much you benching, like how's your
what do you eat,
looking,
how's the protein intake for the day,
who you wearing, like nah man, come on, life is more than that. So you talk impacts, sustenance, passion, those words. Ooh, hey, I'm listening now. Now those are my kryptonite now, and I think it's because of what I've gone through. To be able to see both sides, I'm gonna tell you right now, guys, don't fall into a lot of these traps that in anything is just like a world of like consumerism, distraction, creating stagnance, like suppressing our ability to rise up, to grow, to learn, to conquer. Like we could do so much more with our time. We really can invest in ourselves and others if we just were more efficient.
Again, so many gems that you just dropped there. I want to go back to diet, because that's just something that's very trendy right now. Ooh, what a world.
How's your diet?
I remember the first, when I was starting my journey of losing weight, because before I'd met you, so just to give you a bit of a background, I started my fad, crazy diet, cut out rice, bread, potato, pasta, sugar, everything, about 2 months, 3 months before I'd met you. So I was already looking good, but feeling horrible. I didn't have kusistas on a Sunday. That's how crazy into the fad diets I actually went. Until I spoke to you, and you had all this knowledge. You had this passion and burning inside to educate me and really make me understand what it was all about. It was finding that balance, educating me about carbs, protein, your fats, what your body needs to function, taking care of the vessel inside of you, and that sparked it off. I'm still learning, I'm still growing. There's still moments where I have to go back, because, our culture and growing up in a certain space is what we were exposed to. The foods I ate growing up, I needed to eat it. Now that I have a choice, I'm like, no, I don't want smorky anymore. And people's like, oh, why? I'm like, no, I can choose. I'm fortunate. I come from now I feel like I'm privileged enough to be able to do that and choose certain foods that I do want to allow in my body and not. But one of the biggest things about diets, and which I absolutely hate, is people go on them for this quick spike, and then afterwards they just fall flat immediately. They're like, I'm eating 10 boiled eggs for a day, and then next week we're back into a cycle of things, right? There's also something called the Ozempic trend going on right now, where people are taking this quick fad diet to lose the weight, because that is always the goal for a lot of people. If I'm just skinny, and I remember once that was in my prayer, I was like, Lord, if you just make me skinny, I'm going to be happy. When God gave me the dream body or gave me the dream weight, I wasn't fulfilled at all, because I'm like, what's the point if I'm not filling my cup, if I'm not genuinely happy inside? The numbers, great. Instagram likes was thousands. Oh my God, you transformed your life. But I was doing it unhealthy for a very long time until I found a balance. So weigh in on diets, especially in the pop culture and especially in the society that we live in, where people are chasing that and just that, and then left with absolutely nothing afterwards.
There's no quick fix. There's no shortcut. There's no secret. There is no secret. No one's trying to hide a secret from you. From the moment I engaged in this topic of your diet even and try to learn about how to achieve something from, let's say, a performance point of view, which was like seeing diet as energy, and seeing how it is perceived now as like the enemy. Like food is such an enemy these days, and it's like, what side of the fence are you?
You can't eat that. That's a bad food.
Do it with such guilt. There's way too much like mental emotion and feeling associated with food. And I don't blame people. I blame like the world we live in. I mean, everywhere you go, it's like you're a victim to an advert, or like sugar's added into something, or this is like, it's so hard for us these days when you don't understand that. I don't think there are a lot of brands really looking out for you. It's companies. Like they are companies at the end of the day, and that's all it is. It's a business. So how does business make money? By unfortunately manipulating something. You're just a consumer, so you have to unfortunately look out for yourself these days. And with that, now more than ever comes is sifting through so much, like, what's this trend? Today I can eat fat, today I can't. There's this diet, there's this fad. Like, gosh, like, what is a diet anyway? And it's a conversation we always used to have. It's like, I hate the concept of a diet. Like, there's no, okay, I'm going to achieve this in 30 days, because what happens afterwards? Like, anything that is tough to do with now is not sustainable. So why do it in the first place? Like, what's the purpose? What's the reason why? Like, you need to find something that you can do, that you're passionate about for the rest of your life. So you don't have to like gym every single day. If you hate gymming every day, find some other way to move. Go to dance classes, do Pilates. Find the thing that you enjoy first, because it's going to make everything else that much easier, right? Like, don't not eat. You have to eat, but find the food that works with your body type, that you can enjoy, that you don't have to overindulge in. Like, there's ways that we can really define our own lives, and the diet thing, this food thing, is the exact same conversation. It is unfortunate, though, that culturally, I think all of us, we are brought up in the society now where eat, have a snack, eat breakfast, have a snack, eat lunch, have a snack. Like, our bodies are so incredibly adept and intuitive that it can put up with the strain that we put on ourselves to do that. But at the same time, when we are digesting food, we are negating the ability for our body to do so many other things by freeing up the capacity to do things like heal, recover, reach homeostasis, thrive. But we can't do that always, because we're dealing with this food we put in our bodies, which is so full of like inflammatory properties and things that go against our body's natural intuition. And it's sad to see this reality take place. And I'm like, well, people are always like, where do I start? Where do I begin? It's a very tough question. There is no like be all and end all. Like, my thing is always try and, number one, start eating foods the way they come, the way they appear, like the way they naturally, like the grape came off the tree as a grape, so eat the grape. Don't eat grape juice mix concentrate. Like, no, like, just, you want grape, you have grape. Like, you want meat, have meat. If you want chicken, have chicken. Don't like have these chicken nuggets with from, like, where was it made, how was it processed? We don't know. Like, if we could just go back to source, go back to seeing things for how they were, and get away from all the preservatives in food and the chemicals and things that don't even have names anymore. If you can't pronounce the ingredients, why are you putting in your body E13011? What does that even mean? Is that a vegetable or a fruit? Why is it in my body? There's so many things that, yes, are allowing convenience, but we are losing touch with nature. We are losing touch with the source. We need to reconnect. We are so disconnected. We are so unplugged with reality right now, because we are living on the phone. We are living in this world of distraction. Like, what's right in front of you? If you took the phone away from you and didn't, or I'm hungry, I want a banana, and you didn't order it online and you just took that screen away, you might realize, oh my word, there's a banana tree in front of me. Why don't I just pick it and eat it? But we have no ability to do that because we've got this new thing in front of us just distracting us from things, and that's life right now. That's technology, that's
the digital space that
the
we live
digital
in.
space, the space we play in as well. So it's so tough right now, but that's one big recommendation I always say is to people go back to source. Just eat food the way it comes, the way it is in its natural form. That already will give you such a big up on your body, right? Number 2 is listen. Listen to your body. When you're thirsty, drink water first. If you're hungry, maybe drink water as well. And then you might find that you're actually just thirsty. Do you know the difference between thirsty and hungry? Those are the things we need to actually be more connected to, which we aren't anymore. We pop a pill when we're in pain. We drink an energy drink when we're tired. Why don't we first listen to our body and say, instead of popping a pill when I'm in pain, why don't I say, why am I in pain? Is it a headache? Why do I have a headache? Am I dehydrated? Is the pain in my knee? Why is it in my knee? Have I been standing incorrectly? Have I been dancing all night? Have I done something incorrectly where I've not addressed the issue and my body's telling me to clearly address something, but instead I say, no, I'm going to put a band-aid on it. I'm going to put a plaster on it. I'm going to be fat for this year. I'm going to be obese for this year. I'm going to be unhealthy for this year. I'm going to be unhappy for this year. I'm going to be sad for this year. And then in December, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be lively. I'm going to be thin. Whatever your goal is, I don't know what it is, whatever you perceive to be negative and positive. We live in the negative, waiting to just quickly do a positive. And we constantly have imbalance. And this is where I think consistency is so important. If you want to be something, then just be consistently that thing every day and eventually you will become it. That's the easiest way. There's no other way to do it. Jamie, tomorrow you can decide you want to be anything crazy. I want to be a field agent news reporter for this new health network that is just about to launch. And if you wake up every day and live that way, eventually that is what you are. People are going to now, whether I want to admit it or not, that's all Jamie's talking about. She is that thing. You have become it. You have to live it every day. If I train, here's perfect examples of that analogy. People want to train in the week. How many days are in the week? 7, right? So I work out maybe Monday, lekker session on Tuesday, Wednesday, or I'm feeling sore Thursday, I go ham. Friday's the weekend. So Friday, have a little bit of a bender. Saturday's the weekend. Sunday, I'm going to recover. And Monday, I'm going to go again. So out of 7 days, you're on for only half of the week. And then you're off for the other half. So they actually almost cancelling each other out. If anything, if you did have a good week and you trained from Monday to Thursday and you took the weekend off, 4 good days minus 3 bad days means 1. That means you actually had 1 good day in the week. How many weeks or how many weeks are there in a year? 52. 52 good days out of 365.
Wow.
Come on, guys, do the math. Why not just show up a little bit every day? Instead of doing a crazy 30-day diet, I'm going to change my life for the better and do the most unsustainable thing. I'm not going to eat anything. I'm just going to eat water and cardboard for 30 days. Yeah, 100% you're going to see results. You're going to lose weight. Sure. But what's going to happen afterwards? You're probably going to die. If you're not dead, dying, you're going to be close to it. Or
unhappy.
You're going to be causing so many problems that you don't even want to go down that road. Show up tomorrow and just find a win. And constantly find wins throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your year, throughout your life. And that's how you constantly start climbing and constantly create efficiencies. If I'm winning every day, if there's one small win every day, how can I not reach success? How can I not reach that thing I'm passionate about? So I know this might sound vague, and I could sit here and be technical about a diet, but I think you need to have a real buy-in as to why are you even doing a diet in the first place? What do you want? Do you want to feel good? Do you want to look good? Do you want to achieve something, a result? Answer that question first. Then we can look at how to do it. And it's actually very simple. Once you have a goal, a reason why, or some sort of objective, start slowly. How else am I going to get to the top of the mountain? I cannot sprint. I have to walk. I have to take one step at a time. I can look at the top of the mountain, but I have to come all the way back down to reality, put my bag on my back, tie my shoelace, and one step at a time. I'm not going to get there right now, but I will get to the summit of that mountain. Trust me, I've been to the summits of the most incredible mountains with the lack of almost everything I thought I had, but somehow inside of you, you are 100% built with the ability to achieve it. Your body, your mind, everything you have been blessed with is capable of so much more. Go F around and find out. Trust me, you'll be surprised. Yeah. So I think for me, I think it's about like sift through all the BS of this. What's the next diet fad and trend, like this new thing that's happening now? It's about understanding that there is no quick fix. The minute you adopt that philosophy and guarantee yourself that there's no quick fix, I have to start now and have to find something I can do for the rest of my life. Focus your attention on that and things will become so much easier for you. Find something you can do that helps you move every day. Find a way to eat where, okay, I love cake. I can't stop eating cake, then don't stop eating cake. But maybe eat less cake or understand what the cost of cake is. If I eat so much cake, then I maybe can't afford to eat X, Y, and Z. So inform yourself about the cost of things in life. Yeah, that's a big question, a loaded one. I wish we could talk more about it.
I really wish we could talk more about it because there is so much to unpack here. I wish we could do more of this because you have, again, so much knowledge, so much insight in not only in the world of health, but in fitness, in your own life. You are still learning, you are still evolving. And when you learn that, you are teaching others, teaching people like myself that was lost for a very long time, that needed guidance. So if I never say this enough, and I am so glad that I didn't cry this episode, thank you for always showing up. Thank you for teaching us and for just being Uncle Ryle to Luca as well. I appreciate you. I know that this is not the end of this. It's the end of this episode and this end of the season, but I know it's not the end of our journey. There's still so much to uncover and unpack, and I wish you come back for more. And yes, he's not just a pretty face. People's like, please don't make Ryle take his t-shirt off. I'm not going to do that because we've seen enough, everybody. If you're not, going, check him out online, Nature Boy CT. I love you and I'm so appreciative of you. And again, thank you for everything. And thank you for your knowledge and all the gems. I'm sure people's going to sit in this episode and just write down everything that you have shared with us today because there's just so much to unpack, but you have to come back. So thank you so much. Before I say goodbye, what's next? What's in the cards? Where can we find you? Just in terms of, again, we're seeing you online, traveling. So that means that there's some movement. There's a lot of things happening in your space. Can you share anything with us right now?
Yeah, so a new show coming through soon. So you guys should enter that one. It's going to be insane. It's about homes, renovations. I can't talk more than that, but I'll be hosting something in a very different space to what we used to, but bringing the Nature Boy elements of sustainability and everything that's important right now to the forefront. So I think it's a great niche for me, and that's why I was away overseas, just getting some insights and inspo for the new show. So that'll be coming through in August sometime. I can't say too much more than that. I'm still, for the last year and a half, and still will be, putting all my blood, sweat and tears into Gaia. Shout out here to Gaia. Yay. It's an incredible space and a community that we've built and created. An outdoor, I'm not going to call it a gym. It's just a space where you get to move, train. You get to leave your ego at the door, come and learn something, empower yourself, find a way to win, and be encouraged to find consistency in rediscovering yourself, what you are capable of. And I think that's something I'm really going to be throwing a lot of my heart and soul into, to be able to be in a space right now that is providing that. It is so fulfilling to me, to share my experiences and my learning with people and have real impact. It's humbling. I'm enjoying it so much. It's filling up my cup as much as I never thought it would. And I'm so grateful for that. And I think just with that sentiment, I'm really grateful for what you've done. I know this sounds weird, but like you often always asking me about help and advice, and I don't think how much you don't realize how much I learn from our conversations. You think you are so good with your beck in terms of how you speak in your mouth, but you don't understand how powerful your actions are. You're one of the very few people that I really resonate with, and this is why we go beyond just like friends even, is because you get people that are talking the talk, and you do that so incredibly well, but you do far better the walk. And I'm really genuinely like blown away when I actually think about the female that I spoke to back then.
No, I said I'm not
don't
crying.
know, but I have to say this. I don't, like, she doesn't exist to me. Like, I almost want to like RIP to that past self, because there's nothing much of you left that I can remember. This is such a new you. You resonate such a different energy that is so infectiously contagious. Your cup is overflowing, Jamie. The decisions you've made in the past, and I know we sat down one time. I'm almost getting emotional here. I remember how people never saw your worth, and how you made one of the toughest and hardest decisions in this industry to walk away from a place that didn't see your value, to prove to yourself, I think, and everybody else, how much more you are than that. And you didn't let that define you. You didn't let it hold you back. And I saw such a beautiful moment where you grew your wings and you flew out of that place and have come to a space that I never thought you'd be able to arrive at. And it's like, this new beginning of energy that I can't wait to just watch with front row seats and hopefully be able to dance with. So thank you for making me a part of that. Thank you for doing what you're doing. You inspire, you impact, and you do more than I think you realize. The amount of people that are changed by your actions is what I'm so grateful for. So thank you for being you. Genuinely appreciate you, and I look forward to so much more of your magic.
Wow.
I really do.
I love you.
I love you, my girl. Well done. I'm so proud of you. Yep.
And on that note, that is how you end the tea with Jamie-Lee. Peace. Are you mad?